The new Star Wars Monopoly Han Solo edition gives us 20 new locations that may give us big hints on the plot for the movie coming this May. Seriously, I know I sound like a nutter. Warning: Han Solo spoilers in this video, or the potential for them, so you've been warned.
You're fulfilling your destiny.
So I'm going to go through the locations on the Han Solo Monopoly board by order they appear as you go around the board, but I want to throw it out there that while other movie editions of Monopoly have had accurate locations, the order isn't always right. So I wouldn't take the Monopoly location order as an indication of the location order in the film, but I'm going to, so... Starting with the first spot, Recruitment Center. We've already seen Han at a recruitment center in the trailer saying he wants to be the best pilot. Han may go to an Imperial recruitment center to escape his current life on the streets of Corellia, much like Luke wanted to do to get off his desert planet by joining the Academy. We already know that Han grew up on the tough streets of Corellia, and maybe he didn't want to spend his whole life just stealing and barely getting by. Going to the recruitment center was his chance to move up in life. The recruitment center would likely be after showing him and Kira struggling to survive on their planet. This leads to the next spot, the Imperial Academy. Once accepted, the Imperial Academy is the likely next spot for Han. Here he learns to be a good soldier, and it probably isn't as thrilling as he had hoped for. He might start wishing to be back on the streets, stealing and scheming. Han isn't exactly good at blindly following orders and going with the crowd, and his sarcastic, rough nature won't do well with stormtrooper training. We can clump the next spot, training facility, into this as well. Probably. Next spot is Battlefield. Han had huge ambitions of being a pilot, but from all the leaks and materials they've released, it looks like he becomes a lowly mud trooper, which probably doesn't make him too happy. Though I will admit, mud troopers look super sexy. While it is possible the mud trooper images we've seen are actually a disguise Han is using, I'm leaning more towards instead of becoming a pilot, Han becomes a lowly mud trooper, which he does not like. Since the mud troopers are on Mimban in the movie, that is where he becomes stationed. We've seen images and toys of Han in what looks like a mud trooper outfit around Chewie looking not so good and or in chains. My theory: Han goes to Mimban as a mud trooper. He sees what the Imperials are doing to people or Wookiees, enslaving them, forcing them to work, just in general being really cruel to them, and he doesn't want anything to do with it. If we remember Leia's funeral speech for Han Solo that they just couldn't fit in The Last Jedi because there were too many other important scenes to put in. She said, Han hated bullies and injustice and cruelty, and when confronted with them, he could never stand down. Not in his youth on Corellia, not above Yavin, not on Endor, and not at Starkiller Base. Later in the speech, Leia also said, he loved freedom, for himself certainly, but for everybody else in the galaxy too. And time after time, he was willing to fight for that freedom. That says everything about this film. Han isn't just going to be able to stand by while someone is kicked around or enslaved. He's going to give up everything to do what he feels is right. But when he expresses what they're doing is shitty, he is chained to Chewbacca to work as a punishment. Or put in the pen. There he concocts a plan to get the fuck out of there, which includes Chewie. We know Beckett is on Mimban from leaks, so perhaps Beckett sees what Han did, likes his spirit, and with his and Chewie's help, they make a run for it. Also helping Chewie's family escape. After escaping, Chewie says goodbye to his family to serve his life debt with Han. The trio then may go to the Den, the next spot on the board, where Han meets back up with his childhood friend acquaintance, Kira. Here they run into Voss, who gives them a job. Han may not know Kira is also in on the job. After completing the first job, Voss gives them a second job, the train heist one. The next two spots are the spaceport and the TIE Fighter factory. Chances are they need to go to these locations to acquire items for the job, such as the hauler Han uses for the train heist. Next spot on the board, campsite, is easy. That is the scene we saw in the trailer where Beckett gives Han his weapon right before the train heist. The bridge may be Han in the hauler picking up the train car, where we see Beckett fighting the range troopers. The Cloud Rider gang shows up during this and look to be taking control of the car, so they may impound it. It may then explode during a tug-of-war between Han's company and the gang. Or the trailer could be misleading and the Cloud Gang makes off with Beckett and Han's score. Also, Beckett probably dies here. Chase! Oh boy, there are going to be a lot of chases in this movie. We see Moloch in the trailer chasing Han and Kira in their speeder. The Cloud Rider gang may chase Han when he does the train heist as they want the goods, which leads us to the refinery canteen and the coast. If Han fails the job through the train car exploding or the Cloud Gang simply getting the supplies, Voss won't be too happy, and that looks like a man you really don't want to piss off. So they go to those two locations to get something from the Cloud Gang, or maybe something back. Maybe pay back the item they got off the train car if it didn't explode, or I don't know, any sort of object to make Voss not so pissed. The coast is where we see Envis and Han duel, maybe for the supplies. Or maybe Han loses the duel against Envis, but she spares him. The actress for the gang leader has multiple movie contract deal, and while that could just be standard practice to ensure keeping an actor, it could mean she doesn't die. We've also heard rumors she is a minor boss that doesn't meet her end, but rumors are just that. So if he doesn't defeat her in the duel and doesn't get the supplies, he needs something else to make Voss happy. Something that involves a fast ship. Next, the tavern is where Kira takes Han to meet Lando is my best guess. This could happen after Han and Kira find out that they were on the same job, failed, and now need to work together to survive the wrath of Voss. And the droid arena is probably in this area. We're definitely seeing fighting droids this movie as they've released these cute fighting droid Funko Pops. I'd imagine the back room is actually this location where Lando is playing cards. The next two locations, Operations Center and Landing Platform, deal with some kind of job that Han, Kira, Chewie, and Lando do together. What makes me question this order is there's a TV spot with Lando and Beckett together, and I still believe Beckett dies midway in the movie. So they could actually get Lando much earlier in the film, and maybe this order isn't as great as I initially said in the beginning of this video. But what are your thoughts on that? Space Mines, Kessel Run, and Millennium Falcon are the last spots on the board. It would be interesting if these were in fact last in the movie. They do a job involving the Space Mines of Kessel that involves making the Kessel Run in record time. During this time on Kessel, they encounter at least one Kessel security guard. I'd imagine more as Kessel is mined for some super valuable stuff. Lando appears to be the one that has to interact with the guard. There's a rumor that Han ejects in the escape pod during the Kessel Run sequence. Also during the Kessel Run, we may see the bodywork Lando used to make the Falcon appear nicer than she is start to come off. As we have this description of the Han Solo toy, where the plating comes off. Lando Calrissian's ship, the Millennium Falcon, was a beautiful starship built for a lifestyle of fast flying, partying, and making out with more alien species than Captain Kirk. Little did any of his guests know it was nothing more than a piece of junk. That's got it where it counts. Kitted up to look like a first-class love machine. Also, we have this tweet from Pablo, basically confirming that. Han could win the Falcon in a game against Lando at the end, and then that sets up for a sequel if this movie does really well, which you know it probably will, where they can show Han having adventures in the Falcon. Oh hey, and after recording this, it turns out they already have Han Solo's actor Alden signed on for more, so I guess we really are getting a sequel or two. So again, these locations don't have to be in order. I have some random stabs here though. I'm thinking while the Kessel Run may happen at the end, we may get the Falcon earlier in the movie when Beckett is still alive. I think Han finally winning the Falcon at the end in a game against Lando would be a perfect closer. And I guess Beckett doesn't have to die, I know I keep saying that, but I really can't see him making it all the way through. Maybe it's the whole mentor dying thing that is on repeat in Star Wars that has me stuck on that. At some point, I definitely think Kira has to betray Han, and that kind of goes to this beautiful line in the original trilogy when Han is talking about Leia. Wonderful girl. Either I'm going to kill her, or I'm beginning to like her. I think it's going to turn out that line was referring to his past when he had to take care of Kira. That girl is out for herself and is going to fuck over Han. I feel like that's almost a for certain thing that's going to happen in this movie. Lastly, I don't think Disney can help themselves and they're going to throw in Boba Fett at some point. We know that Boba Fett was aware of Han before A New Hope and didn't like the guy. I just think Disney has a severe problem with sticking these type of characters in, so we're going to see him or at least have a brief cameo. But I guess if we're getting sequels, there's plenty of time for him, so maybe they won't stick him in this one. Okay, so knowing these locations in that order doesn't necessarily matter, though color grouping can. What do you think this says about the Han Solo film? What places would you rearrange or say different things happen at in order to come up with the plot of the Han Solo film coming out this May? Thanks so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe for more Star Wars videos.